Hi guys, welcome back to RUE MORGUE TV. I'm Executive Editor Andrea Subissati, and I'd like to invite you to Frightmare in the Falls, happening October 26th and 27th, presented by RUE MORGUE. We've got a whole bunch of great guests coming. We've got Kane Hodder, Bill Moseley, Barbara Crampton, and much more. I'll be there. I hope to see you. Enjoy this episode, and we'll see you next time.
Something happens to you when you leave this town. The farther away, the hazier it all gets. But me, I never left. I remember all of it.
Congratulations on such a successful premiere. I was there, it was bonkers. So following the runway success of Chapter 1, did that impact the way you approached Chapter 2 at all?
No, not as a commercial phenomenon, not at all. No, the idea of making the second part of the story was always like in our minds. It did have probably, it gave us the opportunity to tell the second part with a bigger canvas.
Bigger budget, maybe?
Bigger budget, you know, more resources to make justice to the epic story that it is.
To the losers?
We made an oath.
Swear? If it isn't dead, if it ever comes back, we'll come back to it.
We didn't stop it.
Pennywise.
The clown.
We can't let it happen again.
Hello?
Kid!
Hello?
Kid! Hello. Please.
We have to say that we've been incredibly lucky to work with New Line and Warner Brothers, who were always creatively supportive, both in Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. But of course, Chapter 1, our resources were about a third.
Okay.
So it's been a pleasure. That said, we all knew, we went into Chapter 2 knowing that we had to tell about 2/3 of the story, because that's what was left from the book. Yeah. And the fact that Andy, from the beginning, envisioned the film as basically a dialogue between the timelines, very much like the book. And we wanted to have the adult losers and the kid losers. So, you know, yeah, there was a lot to film.
Yes, well, I'm glad you brought that up, because my next question I was going to ask, obviously you took 3 hours to tell a story that you could...
2:45. 2:45.
Felt like...
It was 3 hours at a time. It was 4 hours once.
That's what I was going to ask. Was there stuff that you had to cut that you wish you didn't have to?
My first cut was 3:25. Okay. The editorial cut, which is the cut that you see immediately after shooting, because you have the editor working, was 4 hours. So a refined version of that was 3:25. And a more refined version of that is what you're going to see in the movie theater. There were scenes that were lifted, but you see, when you're writing the script, everything is important, and the process that takes you to the conclusion of the film as a film shows you that some of the events that you shot are somehow challenging the pacing and the rhythm of the movie. So what we got now is a refined version of that first 160 pages script.
For 27 years, I dreamt of you. I craved you. I missed you.
We need to finish it. For good.
I've seen all of us die. It consumes us from the inside until we don't have a choice anymore.
But the most important thing here, I think, is that you sit in the theater and it flies. It's the length it has to have for that story, and it's relentless.
You think there'll be a director's cut someday? 4-hour DVD?
Well, the director's cut is more than a director's cut. I think it's a supercut. We call it supercut because it's the two movies edited together, where we are basically bringing back all the scenes that were lifted, and this is something that we're talking about with the studio and stuff. But I want to film 3 more sequences.
We'll see. It's all in talks.
And give the audience a new experience, which is like this story, like told in at least like shown in a big one-piece version.
Can you give me an example of something you had to trim that just broke your heart, that you wish you could?
Nothing really broke my heart, because I wouldn't have lifted it if it wasn't, you know, if it was something very essential. But there's a bit of the plot, the Mike Hanlon's plot, and his own, you know, trauma that has been lifted, precisely because, you know, it didn't hurt the movie a lot because Mike is the one that stayed in town, so he's been looking at his own, you know, memories for all the time, and we know what they are. I wouldn't have lifted any of the other losers, because the losers precisely is about remembering and discovering what is their childhood trauma and face it in order to get, you know, be children again.